talk about slavery, it's always about this country. It was a terrible thing, slavery, absolutely awful. But if it hadn't happened, the success of this world would be it'd be a very different world that we would live in as well. The terrible things that happened in history, and they are terrible. But if you got rid of, if they hadn't happened, then we wouldn't be where we are.
I have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And you know, is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
This mindset that some people have, that if the atrocities that happened in the past did not happen, we will not be where we are today as a society, is a very discomforting mindset. It's highly discomforting because it continues to promote the idea that for us to move ahead as a society, as a people, we have to trample on others and use them to move ahead. The more people continue to have this mindset, the more these atrocities would never stop. But then again, when you look at it, it's only a certain group of people that think this way. Why? Because they actually got to benefit from those atrocities. So they can sit up here, look you in the eye, and tell you why those atrocities actually needed to happen. Now, this woman we saw earlier at the beginning of this video was defending the upside of chattel slavery. Me even saying those words, the upside of slavery, make me sick to my stomach. There is no upside to slavery, and I never would have thought in my entire life I would ever put those words together. But here I am saying it in a video because this person here believes there is upside to slavery. She even went on to talk about how, what about the music? That we should be grateful that slavery happened, because if it hadn't happened, we would not be enjoying the music that we are enjoying today. And I'm going to let the whole of the clip roll, guys, so you guys can see and hear for yourself. But how disconnected these people are from reality is insane. I just can't. Like, the level of privilege you've got to be sitting in, so that when you think about slavery, what you think about is, oh, so now we get to enjoy this good music. And they are so disconnected from other people's pain and sufferings as well. As long as they get to benefit from it, they don't care. And that's why this woman did not even flinch when responding to that question, was it worth it that those children had to die? Like, she could not relate, put herself in the kids' shoes or the parents' shoes. No, she could not do that. Like, no emotion whatsoever. As long as they got what they wanted to get out of the situation, who cares who went down? No thanks to the pain and the suffering that they rain on those people. Now, onto what connects these two videos together, aside from the obvious audacity, lack of care, empathy, or sympathy for other people's pains and sufferings, and the white privilege. Something else that connects these two videos together is how they are both so comfortable in their white position, talking about these atrocities like they were nothing. To them, is literally white comfort over anything or anyone. Two different women from two different status in society, but of course they share the exact same mindset. And of course, they are not the only ones who feels this way. Thousands, if not millions of them even shares the exact same sentiment, men and women alike. This woman is just a random woman on the streets justifying slavery because her and her people now have a comfortable life in the modern world thanks to slavery. But on the other hand, this woman, Madeleine Albright, former United States Secretary of State, was defending a corrupt program that they implanted in Iraq after the First World War. The program had to do with oil. Long story short, it led to the death of hundreds of thousands of Iraqi children. She too defended this atrocity and justified it because now they get money, of course, and a better life in the modern world. So here's my thing. Are we saying we cannot have a world where we all gain equally? We all are happy. We are not using anybody. We are all comfortable and progressing together. Are we saying we have to trample on others to get what we want? Are you guys saying you have to establish programs where people suffer and die so you can have a good life in your modern world? And as you continue to modernize and quest for a more better life than the one you have now, the more people are going to have to suffer so you get it. The fact that people strongly think and believe that if the atrocities that happened in the past did not happen, we would not have good living conditions now is mind-boggling.
We kind of made the point that across the world, a lot of people know the British monarchy, and I agree, it is definitely the most famous. But then the question becomes, why is that?
We've actually been probably one of the most influential and most successful. And when you are influential and successful, then you are the ones that are easy to take down. I mean, you look at the Dutch, for example. But you look at the terrible thing.
history.
Look at that. They were South Africa. I mean, absolutely unbelievable. But no one ever talks about that because
Well, I'm sure South Africans do.
Well, not to the degree that when you talk about slavery, it's always about this country, always about how
That's because we were one of the biggest.
we were one of the most successful.
Not
What's successful?
Spanish,
What was?
though. So with the Spanish.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, they're
When
terrible
I
as
say
well.
successful, I mean, as in they organised it and they absolutely monetarised it. It was a terrible thing, slavery, absolutely awful. But if it hadn't happened, the success of this world would be it'd be a very different world that we would live in as well. Where would the music? Our music, the world wouldn't have any of this music. That's what I'm saying.
Music.
Well, music, the creative side of things. You talk
From Britain.
for everywhere. What I'm saying is that the terrible things that happened in history, and they are terrible. But if you got rid of, if they hadn't happened, then we wouldn't be where we are.
We'd be in a very different place.
We'd be in a very different place. And would it be? Would it be better? Would it be worse? Who knows?